Okay,
The lighting okay? Everything's good?
I guess we're good. All right, we're live. Greetings. Okay, this is a fireplace channeling. I'm not sure if you can see a fireplace, but I can do this on the floor next time so you can see it. All right, so let's see here. Plating, we could just leave it open. It feels like plated energies want to speak. I guess they're not too far away from here. Those of you who have questions, I guess if you have questions on your chat, if you want to, that's up to you if you want to bring that in. So, all right, yeah. Oh yeah, for future, yeah. So I'm gonna start. When I do recordings, I'm trying other things to upload early. I'm just gonna just live any. When I'm ready to do a live, I'm just gonna do a live from now on. So the lighting's better, everything works just easier. So okay, all right. She wants to ask. All right, okay. All right, blessings, everyone. All right, here we go. Just keep it open. Positive energies. All right, blessings. Greetings. Greetings to you. We are, yes, Palladian Collective. We are here with you. Yes, we don't show ourselves publicly, of course, because humans are still understanding our energies. Um, for human and alien interaction, still takes some time to getting used to. Of course, we would like to be more part of your collective physically. There's still a lot of learning. This is a big step for that to occur. So, if, yes, yeah, you are speaking now to a female energy, like say a captain of a ship. I go by the name of Nala. If you have uh, questions, please feel free.
Thank you, Nala. What is your current mission here on Earth? Is there a purpose for you being within our space at this time?
Protect your Earth, your planet. There's still a lot to be understood for the human collective. There's still a lot of, as you know, mistrust going on, ways in your collective. Even ours, are sometimes wondering, well, you're contracted to be on this earth, and we are contracted to assist you. And many of you have difficulties with those contracts. So some Palladian beings do get lost here. They get too involved with the human. They incarnate here, and they get sometimes lost. So they get this world can be like drugs. You can say you can probably feel that yourself sometimes. Some get pulled into the third dimension, and they forget about their They start to remember their alien connections, but they're very much involved in your reality. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anything that Nala would recommend for those of us on Earth that are trying to come into just greater contact with spirit, or maybe we're trying to understand truth? Are there any guidelines or anything that they can offer us that can just help us figure out which way we're going as, just a group right now? Because there's so much chaos on the Earth plane, as we all know.
Well, you align with your own truth. You follow wherever it takes you, because even if it takes you into the wrong direction, there's a lesson there to be learned. It's where you're feeling led to, where you're feeling happiness. Yes, it's very basic, but some make it complicated. It's like the more you follow what you feel is right, but you keep wanting to evolve and learn. If you want that learning energy, it's like you just want to learn something new. If you are going in the wrong direction, you'll find the right direction eventually. So just following what you find inspiring to yourself is very complicated. Well, some find the wrong direction is a more entertaining direction, as you've probably seen. It's the fancier. That's part of the soul journey, and then eventually, because sometimes you find the true truth here, but many aren't that interested in it.
Hmm.
As you've probably seen that yourselves.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Here comes a very different question, and that is from your vantage point, whether it be within what we would call a fourth density frequency or non physical, do you find other races or other beings within that space?
Yes. New ones. I wouldn't say all the time, but it happens often. A lot of it, I believe you mentioned earlier about insectoid beings, as there's many, some actually, as new insectoids are found on your planet, but we find them sometimes first, meaning that they weren't always here.
Where do they reside? They're here on the planet,
Yes,
under the surface.
physically.
Where?
Well, it's different types of insects. Your scientists find new species of life. Usually, it's an insectoid energy. A lot of it does come from Orion. Now, that's not always. I mean, those energies are to shift the vibration here to actually bring you to a higher plane. It's just a regular insectoid being. It could be as small. It doesn't matter the size, but it's as you go into a new, as you evolve, into a new energy. New species haven't really evolved here, on a massive scale, like a new type of wine. Well, there is some of that, but not as much as it could be.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Are there any other beings that are trying to reach out just to our soul group in general right now? And I know that's a very broad question, but a lot of us right now are having kind of standardized internal experiences with things like the Nordic beings, the mantis
Mhm.
beings, and also a lot more Orion energy. Are there any new groups coming in that you have seen within that fourth density space?
Well, there are animal type of beings like the rhinoceros. You don't hear about them very often. Some of them are from Sirius, but not all of them are from Sirius. There are rhino beings that do appear. They usually keep to themselves normally. Of course, there are also elephant beings that you don't hear about very often.
Humanoid elephant beings?
Yes.
Humanoid? Interesting.
And there are different types of mantises that are humanoid that does not necessarily have the face of a mantis, but they have a lot of mantis type of features. And those can be quite powerful at times, even intimidating. And they can appear and disappear wherever they want to. Some are very just, and they're sometimes very simplistic beings, but they know what they're doing, though. Sometimes the simpler, the more difficult they are. Because humans here are very complicated, as you can see. So they're very rooted into the third dimension. But as you become simpler, it becomes easier to shift dimensions.
Why is that?
Just your mind is more focused on simpler, information. It's like riding a bike. Instead of riding a bike, you're learning how to shift to reality. So some beings are just created for certain reasons, for certain talents, such as going through different dimensions, or some talents of telepathy. Some are just built with a higher form of it.
Mm.
So you can't always see the beings, but you can talk to other beings in other realities. But yes, there count as other beings that most of them are insectoid that are residing on your planet, as you've seen them here. The rhino is the one that wants to speak. That's the thing. There are a lot of species here, but a lot of them don't want to be known. Like we know about them, but we don't make them fully known on your reality.
It's because they're in another dimension, or they're below the surface?
They don't want to be seen. They don't want attention.
Mm.
So even if they're channeling, they can block it out. So some feel like it'll kind of derail your reality a little bit. It will cost them some. Well, for example, like the founding fathers of the United States, think of that form as an alien race from another world. So they all look like that. Not exactly, but you have the idea. Some are actually Egyptian.
Let me ask, earlier you said that the Palladians are here helping to protect us. What are you protecting us from? How are you protecting us?
Self manipulation, protecting humans from themselves. A lot of us are therapists on your planet. So it's helping humans from self destructing. People are worried about atomic bombs, and yes, that's a worry, but also this many are going through a lot of depression here. So we can't interfere too much, but we are that's becoming more of the concern because you have the social medias and all that, and yes, the beings that are here that do not want you to know yourselves. They have increased the social media, like Facebook was assisted to become powerful, and these other entities, as you know,
Mm.
they're made powerful for a reason, to push you away from yourself. It's doing very good. Actually, Snapchat is pretty powerful with that.
Mm.
So it like defragments you. So, but yes, there is an elite here, of course. We don't talk about it very often, but it does live within the humans actually here. It's like the seed of manipulation is already planted. It's like, what you call human. Like you just go to school, you meet somebody. It's an implant program, as you maybe know.
What can humanity do then to help assist with the Palladians' efforts to assist us?
Well, first off, is patience. Difficult one. It's up to the individual. I mean, many want to save others, but are you saving yourself? Some are not doing that. Yes, as we were speaking earlier, because we connect diamonds energy. Like people are always working on themselves, but yes, more of how to do that. More of that will become part of your society. Yeah, it's a necessity, and that's what this whole Star Seed group is really. It's about counseling. Really, when it comes out, yes, you want alien contact, but really, it's counseling in the long run. That really, that's it's yes, alien contact's great physically, and that sounds exciting, like the candy of it, but really, it comes down to just saving the soul, and that's I don't believe it's mentioned very often.
So the Palladians aren't going to fly down from the sky and save us?
Well, as much as that would be nice if we could, but our counselor said don't do that. There are realities we have done that has not worked out too well. Well, because we're responsible for everyone now.
I have a question about that. And through some of the what we might call the human-based lower level disclosure groups currently operating on the Earth plane, there has been talk recently that certain types of contact protocols or manners through which extraterrestrials will be in contact with physical humans, it's been said that that's changed, that certain rules have changed, and that even our solar system has recently been liberated. Have you found anything, or what are you guys experiencing in that realm with regard to those statements?
There are some changes, but not major ones. Not as they're speaking of. No, we don't see liberation because you would see that on your world. You'll see world peace. But it's yes, some of that's a manipulation, as you've heard already. That yes, the world's been liberated, things are going to get better. I believe you were speaking about that earlier. Of people are just yes, they get relaxed and they don't want to learn about themselves anymore. So
They want somebody else to come fix it.
it's like self sabotage. Yes,
Hmm.
the aliens cannot fix it. We can only assist. We're similar to, even some of the figures, like even the angels in the Bible, is very similar to that. We're just to assist, but not to. You still, it's still your life.
Right.
Unless you want us to take over your life, I don't think many want that.
But if we ask as a collective, right?
Mhm.
So it's an issue of violating the law
Correct.
of free will.
Correct.
And so if we want assistance, we need to ask for
Yes,
assistance.
because the knowledge is given to many. They don't always, because they're waiting for a visitation instead of their own internal healing. It really comes down to counseling. It truly does. It's even the Greeks were a lot of that was counseling. Really, the philosophers, it was therapy. That's all these star seeds are very capable of doing therapy sessions. Really, just realizing that. Yes, you are connected to aliens. Somebody's denying that. But for us to show up, you have to align with our energy. And it's not happening, as you know.
Because we are not working on our own vibration
Yes.
through using the various healing modalities available to us, including, as you're speaking about, for example,
Mhm.
people who literally help with speech counseling or talk
Yes.
therapy, things like that.
Mhm.
So in other words, crystals, meditation, all that stuff is great, can be helpful.
Yes.
But we still need to do
Healing your problems.
yeah to
Healing.
raise our vibration.
The
to be able
problems, yes, the problems that people don't want to make public. That especially growing up, yes, domestic violence, violence towards children. As more children are no longer abused here, you'll have less human trafficking because the energy shifts. Because it's so dark here, of course they're going to abuse children here, the ones that are doing it, because it keeps the energy low. So you don't see what's happening here. If you heal that frequency, you can see the beings that you can just see us, the alien beings, really easily. So
We have a question from the audience, and that question is from Unity Gaming Family, and they say, "My research points that I am living in a recording. Thoughts on this? I have determined hundreds of millions of years." What do you think about that?
like a recording of like their lives are recording, yes, you can say that. Yes, they've been living kind of the same life over and over again. If that's what they're asking. And it seems to be that is partly true, but not entirely, meaning you can change that. We see a lot of change there. So I believe just noticing that ends the recording, actually.
Interesting.
Eventually, if they wish to, you still have power there.
Oh, thank you. We have another question, if you're willing, and this
Yes.
is from Genevieve N. She says, "I've been told that I have a concurrent existence on the Pleiadian planet of Dakot. What role are the Dakot Pleiadians playing in relationship to Earth at this time?"
Well, they keep an eye on Earth, but they don't get too involved. They do work with emotions here, but they have some of their star seeds here, as you know, but not many. They like to keep to themselves. This is not. They send some of their children here, but not some Palladian worlds send droves of beings here to incarnate, and that one it's very few. But I believe you'll meet someone similar to you. Maybe not exactly what you're looking for, but it probably meets someone that has a lot of similarities.
Thank you.
Yes.
So in terms of our timeline, Ivan, it sometimes feels like, did we accidentally choose the wrong timeline? or I guess it's a question to Pleiadians. Why does it feel like for many months, it felt like we were on a wonderful timeline, a timeline of light and new Earth.
Right.
And it feels like maybe we've been derailed, or did we accidentally end up on the timeline that was not the one that we were all hoping for?
You can say it's been slightly hijacked, yes. So there was a timeline of more positivity, but this one is not hijacked in a way as the end of everything, but it is kind of a darker timeline for some. That's what some of your collective needs to learn, though. So the human collective is calling upon it. Like they manifested it. Not everyone, but some did.
Why did it manifest this way? Why did this?
Some need to see destruction of themselves. Like society needs to fall apart for them to learn. So it's being given to them. They are scared right now. And that's what many of you are here right now, the starseed energy, to lift it up the best you can.
Are we going to be able to get back on track?
Eventually, yes, but it won't be the track that you're seeing now. It'll be more of a higher vibration, but sometimes you have to go down before you go up. So,
is there a time frame that we might be able to anticipate seeing things potentially contribute down or continue down this trajectory where maybe it wasn't what we had in mind, but ultimately things will turn out, better, or the way that we had hoped?
Well, for some, next year is looking better.
As in 2022, 2023?
Yes. Yes, 2022. Yes.
Early, late? What?
Just the year itself, not showing when.
Okay.
These are like timelines that are difficult for us to navigate. Even this year, it's been. I mean, a lot of alien energies don't feel like they don't even know where things are going right now. They just know that we need to follow this path like you are. It's like, we don't know where this is going, but we're going to follow you with it.
Yeah.
So.
What are we seeing also? I'm going to call it the injectable juice. So if we can refer to it as juice.
Oh, yes, we understand what you're talking about.
So we're seeing a lot of people that are really becoming very aware of the risks involved with this. And a lot of people are starting to gather the courage to stand up for, their continuing employment or looking elsewhere. And I'm seeing sort of like a split where the people are either going to accept the juice or they're going to have to sort of create their own new reality. What are we going to see, I think, over the next year in regards to that, in terms of, are we going to see people that are health-wise affected by this? Is it going to start to become very apparent what's really going on? Are people going to react or respond to that? What would that look like over the next year?
Well, some that want to evolve will evolve. Just not take the juice and change their lives for the better. Actually, it won't be easy. It's to show that there is a darkness here, and it doesn't care about anyone. And some didn't realize it was that bad until now. So this is a wake-up call for many. And there are others that just give into it. Literally will give their soul away. And that's what's happening. Some are and that's the journey they need to go through. And most likely they'll be holding on to this route. Now, those that don't want, that are kind of forced into this, that's a different energy because you are resisting it. So it doesn't mean that you'll fall for all the contracts that are connected to. Others just give their power away, as you can see. So this is a major wake-up call. All of this, the government's a wake-up call. It's because your world is splitting in half, you can say. It's like the darkness is it's doing what it's doing, but the light is getting stronger. It's not always seen, but those of you that want the light to come through, you will see look at your conversations now. Look at your connection right now. It's getting lighter. It will continue to get lighter as long as you want it. So look at it that way. Notice how you find each other. It's just, and you weren't really looking for it, really. Yeah, that's the point. So what will happen? It shows you kind of like what side of the team you're on.
Right. Bifurcates, and then we find each other in the split.
Exactly. Well, this right here, your group here, is showing that you're joining forces. You're doing it for a reason. But others that are taking, the juice, as you say, that are just easily falling for it.
Did they choose that on a soul level?
Yes. Now, some was that they didn't want it, but they end up taking, because they have to for a job. They will a lot of them find their way out of that contract. It depends on the person. Some, meaning they don't have to go through the sickness of it.
Is there an AI component to what people are being given right now?
Major, yes.
And so
nothing like injecting it into your system, isn't it?
Along with that AI aspect, we are being told from certain people within our community and also a number of camps all throughout the earth plane that there's, what we would call a positive, maybe a good AI. And then there's also this anti-life, what some might even call the evil AI. What are your viewpoints on artificial intelligence?
Positive AI normally does not inject itself into someone. A negative one will. And now realize with this, the juice, as you're mentioning it goes into the mind. So it gets you to think a certain way. So
I've literally noticed close friends and family, and it is almost like they are brainwashed and they become a walking advertisement for the juice.
Right.
And they become very pushy about taking the juice. Yes. And it's interesting that you're saying this, that it's an AI that actually does affect the mind, because you can literally see that happening.
Yes, it's like a government propaganda, a billboard in the mind.
Yes.
It's like a religion. When if you want to go further with that, literally like selling someone a religion, and that gives you an idea of who's running your planet. The Cabal energy is not necessarily the AI. They use AI as a tool.
Okay.
But it's they religiously believe in all of this. Of course, they have their own religion, but there's a religious war on your planet. It's not your. They just that mentality. It's not necessarily Catholic or anything like that. So
Thank you. We have one more question from the audience, and we can open it up for whatever you feel or whoever. And so one of the questions, someone says, I have had great experiences speaking in Latin, the language of light. There seems to be something listening. Thoughts on this?
well, that you are tuning in more to your soul essence. Who basically yes, Latin lifetimes, not just the language. You just remember your soul. You're just connecting to the light of yourself. And yes, you feel your guides and energies around you. I believe in some of your lifetimes are speaking to you. Like even a lifetime that you've already lived is, proud of you. Sounds a little bit different there, but but yes, continue on. If it makes you happy, please do.
Thank you. We do have another really fun question. Maybe there's no answer for this, but this is from Soul Schooling Group, and they say, question, what's going on with the sky? What are the chemtrails trying to conceal?
Everything. Well, it's mostly for you to breathe it in. That's what they care about the most. Now, most of it doesn't live that long among many of you that are aware of it, but those that are not, it creates your reality, you can say. Look at the mentality here right now. Look at the world the way it is. It actually builds timelines. What you're currently living in, chemtrails are part of it. Now, maybe you're rejecting that, but you're still part of this world. You haven't had a. Once again, many of you are coming together that need to build this better community. You're building your defenses up because it's not going to get any better as many feel like it will. Now, those of you that are fighting this, yes, it will get better for you. Obviously, it'll be more still difficult, but you can still have, you're going to get the tools what you need to fight this war. Let's put it that way. So the alien beings, yes, will eventually come out and be seen. Eventually, that's what you're working towards. So for the secrecy is no longer secret.
Thank you. We have another really fun question, and then we'll just hand it over to you and let you go. I know I keep asking all kinds of questions, and thank you for entertaining us. We mean this sincerely and
yes,
being
of course.
present. And we have a question from Cosmic Origins, and question says, what's the reason that Trump is publicly supporting the you-know-what, and what is his true intention, alignment?
The juice.
Well, he's still part of the system. We believe he has no choice. Yeah, that's a tricky one, as you can tell. So, yes, there's a positive side to him, but there's also to be in that position, that is part of the contract. So, he's to be uncryptic or cryptic, he's still with you in this reality. So, to keep him breathing here, because others would have done differently. The JFK would have had a lot of similar situations, because that's really where he wanted to go. But his family and everything doesn't want to lose them, so he has to read the script. He has no choice. So as you probably could tell, or get an illness. Notice his health isn't so bad. I mean, it's not perfect, but it could be a lot worse. There could be a lot of other sabotages there. So.
Thank you very sincerely. We just kind of want to open it up if there's any guidance or additional energies or anything you may have for us. Thank you so much.
Well, yes, realize the war is not over. I mean, the more of it you want to awaken, the more that you will. But it's not maybe how you visualize it. Because, yes, who is here will most likely be seen eventually, those that are hidden. And us, even as Pleiadian beings, we are happy to be a part of your society, but you have to show that you're in charge still. So we can appear and be with you, but it's still your world. So we're just here as assisting you. So when we make our appearances, it means that you're obviously on the right track, and to get others to believe it too. But it still comes down to you, because we can make an appearance, but then we're gone. Because it's not our battle. It is, but it's mostly yours. We're assisting, but similar, yes, to the Bible. A lot of that was alien visitations and all that, just to wake up the people to know that there's another essence here. So, so any other questions or?
Well, we do have another one, and this is kind of really just Matthew's question. I've heard other people talking about this lately, but what are the viewpoints of your I guess your people on positive implantation? There's been other talk within some of the disclosure circles around implants, maybe non-physical
Yes.
implants or physical implants. What do you guys think about all that talk?
Well, it does happen, yes. Just like you have motor skills, like you repair an arm or a leg, there is that, yes. But that's entirely up to the individual if they want it or not. So you don't need it. It's not necessary. You can find other ways. So, but yes, it doesn't have the best word around it. I mean, there are beings that will do that. If you want an implant from a being, they'll find a way to get to you. So.
Yeah. It seems like there really isn't a need to actually implant
No.
anything within the human body anymore.
No.
Maybe that's my limited viewpoint, but it
Not at
seems
all.
as though our technology is far beyond that.
Well, some humans still want it for their own reasons, but yes, it's not necessary. No.
Could it be said that we are actually being implanted if we're breathing in whatever's being dropped on us in the chemtrails?
Yes, but many of you are rejecting it also. It's
How do
like,
we reject it? Is it a
dude,
function of our consciousness?
yes, and your yes. Yes. It's just not part. It's kind of like when you get in your car and drive, it doesn't mean you have to be, in an accident. Like some chemtrail energies are usually targeted to certain people. That's the other thing.
And what's really the purpose of those? Why are they doing it?
Oh, it's mind control. Yes, they want people to stay in this reality. They don't want anyone to break free of this. They want to say this is normal, but it's not.
And so there's substances actually in those chemtrails that somehow
Yes.
make us do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, the beings that are controlling your society, this is their empire. They conquered it. They conquered this world, so they're not going to make it easy for you to free yourself. As much as people say they lost, have you seen any indications of them losing?
That's a question that I've had. I think many times I sit and I think, or I wonder, were we duped? Were we
Yes.
duped into believing that there was going to be a group of white hats that were going to save us, so that therefore we all just sat by and did nothing?
There are white hats. They do exist, but they did not win the war, though. That's the problem. So, but yes, it is a lot. That is, yes, a dark agenda there to say that the white hats won, because you're not seeing it. Now, if you saw it, it'd be a whole different story. I actually feel like it's losing more recently because the government. It looks like it's losing, but some of that darkness needs to be seen too at the same time.
We're certainly seeing a lot of that in, let's say, Australia. It almost seems like the testing ground.
Well,
Or-
yes, they want to do that worldwide, but it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
They're trying. They're trying to manifest it.
Vis-a-vis Australia first, and how is that going to play out?
Most likely will stay there in New Zealand. Well, it's mostly Australia, but New Zealand's going through a version of that too.
Will the Australians themselves free themselves, or will
Some
they
will.
become a slave?
Oh no, they'll break free eventually. It's not going to go on forever.
How long do you think this would last?
4 or 5 years, but not as it is today.
And what about travel restrictions?
That's going to come and go. It's not going to be entirely it. Some countries will give, relax, and others will get stronger. That's where the Dracos are, by the way.
So, for example, in France, where they're now requiring
The
vaccines, the
Draconian.
vaccine passport to enter.
Mhm.
Okay.
As they call it, Draconian. That's where the reptilians are. Well, that's where they still stay strong. They're still pretty strong in certain areas, as you can see. They're not winning all these wars, but for the human to realize the war's not over, as you can tell.
Thank you. We have one more question here, if you'd like, and this is a really basic one. A lot of people are talking about this on Earth right now. It's just kind of a thing everyone's interested into, and the question is, what's up with we'll call him Creepy Joe? Is he a puppet, like maybe a clone, or is he something else?
Well, he's like a machine. He is not. His soul is. His essence is very fragmented. It's like his, as you said, his body has been manufactured not well, but you can say that's for some of the elites who what we're getting is a middle finger to the humanity of just we run this place. We can use a puppet and do it, and you still believe it. They're showing how you can, cynical side. It's just how stupid people are believing all this. They're making it so obvious now. They just don't care. And that become more apparent. They pushed it. They're going to push it even more eventually. So yeah, they just and it shows those that are part of this dark agenda, the puppets in the government. Yes, how far gone they've gotten. But it's like you see in the cartoons, it's the skeleton creature is running everything. You're already seeing that. You're just not. People aren't quite getting it yet. Still.
Who is actually running the show then?
Well, not your government, as you can tell. Not your queen. She's too weak. She's a figurehead, like a mother, grandmother, but it is off planet. There is draconian energy connected to it, but that's not the leader. That's not the main one. It's like think of draconian as like of just they're just infestations. Like they're everywhere. They have a certain mentality. Like they're built up to keep your world shut down. They're literally trained how to keep this world the way it is. That's one aspect of it. There's more. But is there? You can say yes, the dark fleet. They don't want, even for us to mention it. They don't want. It's a tough one to go into full details on that one. But it's basically beings that some of it's Orion, but it's not all Orion. Basically, it's these beings that no one's ever heard of. Look at it that way. These faceless beings. And yes, many of them are not human. Not humanoid. They're far from it. So that's the best we can do for that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So
What will become of Creepy Joe? Will he serve out all 4 years? Will we see someone else step into that role? And what will become of the audits from the last election?
I feel like the audits are going to keep on keeping that hidden. They're not going to, as you know, they already got their guy in there. For Joe, we don't feel like he's going to last the 4 years. It's unknown. Maybe 3 years, maybe 2. They're keeping him up as much as they can. So he might make it throughout this year, possibly. We feel like he'll make it at least through the year, but he won't be seen very often. There's going to be times they're going to keep him out of public to kind of like resetting him or fixing him, you could say. They know they have it. They know this whole thing is a joke, but they have to play along with it. Because a lot of it's just the White House staff feel very strange about it all, as you probably can tell.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Will we see the number 2 person step in there? What will happen?
Yes. There is a military presence that they're deciding there now. So it's probably some kind of psyop, most likely. They don't have it prepared yet for what we see. So. Yes. Any other questions? Or yes.
So I do wonder, just I guess just planet-wide, I've heard stories about we might be seeing food shortages and more restrictions, transportation restrictions, things like that. Perhaps market collapse coming up, whether it's the real estate market, the stock market. What would we maybe anticipate that we might see in the next 6 months? What do we need to do to prepare?
Well, it's just mostly propaganda. They're trying to create these dark timelines. We feel like you'll get through it. Now, some areas will have shortages, but not everywhere. And it won't be everything that'll be shorted either. Now, when the weather starts to hit with cold, it's going to be rough for a lot of people. Not that you'll be out of items, but just going to be rough. It's going to be a rough winter for some, not everybody.
Is it the dark winter?
You consider that, yes. Manipulative winter, as you know. It's not just from your government. There are other forces here. So they're going to use it as to take advantage of people because it's just weather. No one's going to think anything of it.
Mm.
So, but they don't want anyone to live in California, as you can see. And those that live there are going to have to suffer through it
Mm.
because that is where the dark agenda is. One of them, obviously. They make it very difficult to live there. There are starseed beings there, but it's not everybody has to. You know, it's kind of like the front lines, but you don't have to necessarily be there. Is it really worth it?
Mm.
You can fight the battles in other places. So,
Thank you. I guess at the end here, because we don't want to keep you too long. Thank you for
Mhm.
being here. But
yes.
finally, as we go through or toward the sort of latter quarter of 2021, given all that we've seen and all that humanity's been through with the viral madness and the mind virus, and just what a lot of us think right now is a really, really big event about to happen again, similar to other ones that we saw, years ago. Is there any just advice or guidance or just pieces of information that might seem that to use of us?
Well, the future is going to be it's going to be very difficult to predict. As many do see versions of it, but it's more likely just get through it. You find yourself, find your path. That's what matters right now. If there's going to be an event, of course, there's always some kind of event, but when and how. So many are focusing on that, but not focusing on their own situation. You focus on your own situation, you'd be surprised what you'll find. That's what matters, right? That matters most right at this time. And everything else will come into place. Because you're prepared. You're like preparing for war, basically. You're already in the war, you're just getting more prepared for it. So that's what we recommend most. So, all right. Blessings to you all.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. All right.
That's very
Blessings.
interesting.
All right. Blessings.